next flight investors. What's the next play?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome to Next Play Investors, man. We've been out here kicking it every Sunday, and we definitely been glad to hear you here. So we're gonna get over and kind of kick it with everybody and see what's going on. Oh yeah, and so we're going over there. So let's go back and see what everybody doing, and we're gonna get started. So yeah. That's what it was. I was logging on, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like with the whole play, with Dion and everybody like that, man, it was a situation where they getting involved with it now down in
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, and so he's gonna be able to bring a lot of people in. And so when you look at it from the perspective of eventually they gonna have some everybody, you know what I'm saying, involved down there. But see, it's not a lot of, it's a black community, and
Mm-hmm.
the black people kind of like normal black. I mean, kind of like, I don't want to say typical. I want to say that the I would say some black people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like they're not interested in investing, and so with them not being interested in investing,
Mm-hmm.
that's why all the properties down there in Jackson are just sitting there because the money is in Jackson, but the people aren't educated on how to invest in community. So
Yeah.
that's why with Dion bringing all them people down there, that's what he doing. He bringing people that is knowledgeable on how to get the area back up and running. Because
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
don't even realize they sitting on a gold mine, and they, by the time everybody down there really gonna get involved, it's gonna be so many outside investors that's gonna be done came in and took everything, made almost all
Yeah.
the money, and then they gonna make it hard about it, and then that's when you're gonna get the people complaining, man, they don't came in and took all our properties and and raised our stuff, but nobody's
Yeah.
getting in on the front end. Where Dion is like, shoot, man, I'm trying to do this, that, and the third, and y'all could have
Mm-hmm.
been investing in y'all community, but and some of them like that black businesses that I went to and had, man, it's a great burger, man. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot the name of it, but they've been around for like almost like 50 years. And
Wow.
it's certain business. They got a little fish restaurant right around the corner too. Oh man, it's
Mm-hmm.
called a Fish Shack. Man, Fish Shack. Woo. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
we should man, try to plan to go down there soon, man, and at least and go see what's going on down there, and
I'm
at
gonna be
least it won't take but what, a weekend,
hell
really?
yeah, because I
Bre-
mean the airport
Break out
right
on Friday and get back on Sunday, man.
the
A
airport in
next play
Jackson.
trip, bro.
The airport in Jackson though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
you get off the airport, you know what I'm saying? You ain't that far from where everything is, except for the other sad part. Ain't no real hotels in Jackson. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to stay in the others community to have a
Is there
hotel.
any? Are there any Airbnbs?
Well, see, that's what we trying to build. We trying to start Airbnbs right there in the area because and that's what I'm saying. Ain't there's nobody's. They probably got a few
Mm-hmm.
Airbnbs around, but there's nobody really Airbnb in or anything in the area. We was looking on Airbnb website. There's
Because
not.
if you,
There's
because it,
mm-hmm.
yeah, if you look at it right now, man, football season coming quick, bro. You would be making a killing if you had an Airbnb there.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's why I say it's still it's still in the making because they fighting for the football stadium too.
Oh, okay,
You see
yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
Jackson State got some land. Like I told you, they got land that they trying to hold, that they trying to get the stadium put on the college campus.
Yeah, which
And
they
see,
should.
but see that and see the others, they want the stadium to be like the one they have now, where everybody use one stadium. And they
Nah,
want,
man.
and so that's the thing
The
they fight.
proceeds get split up between all them now.
Yeah,
Nah, man.
that's what's happening down there now. See, like Jackson State brought in Dion, and Dion is reshaping everything. So now the people, the others in the community, they like, oh, we gonna ride this wave too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now
Yeah.
they when they propose the new stadium, they proposed the new stadium. They wanted to be by the city line. So the mayor them trying to make the new stadium because they getting a new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is
Where is it going to be
yeah, the
located?
problem is the others are fighting to have the stadium where to sit so it can bring attention to the people when you get off. They actually want the stadium by the airport. So when you get off
Yeah.
when you flying in, the airport and the stadium is the main attraction coming into the city.
Yeah, so they get more revenue downtown. Now they can redo their downtown area. Man, come on, man. That ain't got nothing to do with them.
And so Jackson State trying to get the stadium like every other big name college on campus. Because that'll bring them more revenue, and then they can charge outside people to use the stadium. You see what I'm saying? And so they got the money from the. And so it's a crazy thing. So that's why I said like the whole thing with the Dion thing. They want they're basically trying to capitalize off what he's doing. And so it's one of them things in limbo because if they get the stadium close to the school, all that property that we looked at around the school is gonna go skyrocketing.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If they put it where everything else is, like when you go down there, because like truthfully, imagine getting off the airport in I can't even say Decatur, Covington Airport. You know what Covington Airport is?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine getting off the airport in Covington Airport, and there's nothing really between the airport and the city limits. You see what I'm saying? And so they trying to put the stadium close to that same area so it look like it's something, but because it's just like if you go to Covington Airport, you go to Alcovey down there, and then you don't really have nothing. Then you got to drive to like Kanye. You can't drive to Social Circle and see nothing. You got to drive to Kanye to actually see like the stores and everything else. It's the same thing there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you drove when you get out the airport, if you drive like say you was going into Jackson, it's gonna really be like Social Circle. You know what I'm saying? That type area. It's really nothing there. So all the hotels are in the Conyers type area. So they trying to put the stadium where it's gonna be instead of letting them build them stadiums. Build hotels up out down there. They trying to make it. Well, we gonna still put the stadium where all the tourism is, but it's gonna cut the black folks out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I hate to say this because I know it might be wrong. I'm sorry, y'all, but at the same time, it's kind of right because see nobody ever like the hotels there. Man, them things that boy, they might be -3 star. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
Like they don't have.
I thought it was like negative.
Yeah,
Damn.
they don't have no real tourism there. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody goes to all that. Like it's crazy how they suppress that area where that school is.
But the thing is, man, with a whole bunch of people don't realize is how innovative and resourceful we are, no matter what. So if they did put the stadium in our community, it wouldn't make any difference. We'll figure something out. And then before you know it, they'll go ahead and build hotels and everything else around there. But that's what they don't want because that money would be flowing into the black communities.
Well, and that's the thing. See, the other thing, man, that I find out, we be talking about this a lot. The other thing is they charging Jackson State a lot of money to use the outside facility. That's the other thing. So they don't give Jackson State sued the state government about a year or two ago. You know what I'm saying? Because the government wasn't giving them no money, but charging them a lot of money. See, that's the other reason why they fighting to try to get the stadium on the property, because they paying out more money to the others. You know what I'm saying, to use their facility, but they provide all the revenue because you only got really 2 schools in the area, Ole Miss
Yeah,
and Jackson
which
State.
is which they love.
Yeah, and see
They
that's
love them Rebels. We love Ole Miss.
but check this out. That's whose stadium Jackson State uses.
Yeah,
And
and all the money go to them.
yeah, but Ole Miss ain't making no money. So they trying to keep Ole Miss relevant off Jackson State.
That's ugly.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say it's a whole bunch of mess, man. Like it's a whole bunch of mess because Jackson State is making money now because of Deion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they trying to take the money. They still trying to take the money from the people and give it to Ole Miss and make it seem like Ole Miss. Because if they build that stadium where it is, it's gonna really be near Ole Miss. And and the stadium is really more. The stadium now is more near Ole Miss, which is down. Ole Miss is downtown. You see what I'm saying? Jackson State is on the outskirts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So all of it is to play in and try to, we're gonna redo Ole Miss and make kind of hate to say this, make Ole Miss great again.
Yeah.
Well, it probably a lot of that political stuff involved too. You know that.
Yeah.
Politicians getting their palms greased.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to play a major part in that whole situation, bro. Yeah. It's ugly though, man, and it's messed up how they're actually just using Jackson State, so to say, as a pawn and what they've already been doing. And they're doing it on a bigger scale, trying to do it on a bigger scale. That's just, but anyway, man, I digress. And, man, how's everybody doing? That's something me and Franklin were just talking about while y'all was trying to come up on that. Come on, man, to the time, whatnot. It just spilled over and we were just talking. Yeah, so how's everybody week, man?
I'm better, so I'm great.
Nicole, I see you got a new puppy.
I do.
You got a new responsibility.
I do. Yes, and it has definitely been a responsibility over here.
Yeah.
Look, we just came back from Stonecrest.
Oh, what you mean? You and the dog?
Yes.
Well, I should have known. You didn't already start to teach a bad habit. Even the dog is in the street.
Yeah, the dog. Emma hangs with her mama. She gets in her car seat, and we just.
Is it a puppy?
Yes, it's Shih Tzu.
Oh, Shih Tzu. That's right.
Shih Tzu.
She's 8 weeks.
8 weeks. And how much you paid for it?
$400.
Oh, I figured that.
Oh my God.
Did you say oh my God?
Nothing.
Reggie, what you say?
Nothing.
What?
What up, Reggie, man? How you doing?
What up, Red?
Just sitting here, being shocked.
Don't be shocked.
I guess I was wondering if my WhatsApp message sparked this conversation. I sent I put the thing there where The Rock was doing their XFL trials over at Jackson State.
Oh,
I saw it and I read it. I don't know if Sam knew about it, but I know.
No, I didn't really know about it, but I was just, I was just talking to Franco about it. I was like, hey, that's all.
Yeah, just more press. I think that's something that Deion. Well, the thing is, The Rock's ex-wife is a big manager. Doesn't just manage him, manages actors, manages other athletes. So I'm sure she's a connect with Deion.
Mm-hmm.
So Deion connected with her, and she brought The Rock on. So now, yeah, they're doing is a pretty big thing that they're doing over there, and the XFL is another big. Rock is really trying hard to bring it back.
Okay, well, I mean, there are a lot of football
it's
players.
It's in a WhatsApp if you didn't know. So I put it in there last week.
Oh, okay, I'll check it out. Well. As far as the XFL, you got a lot of players sort of near the end of their career, but they can still play. And you got some players that are just now not really quite there, and they get that experience and everything else. Sooner or later, a lot of the XFL players are gold. And
The Rock has a big whole explanation on the XFL. And the 54th teammate, he runs around with a jersey with the number 54. on it because there's 53 players in the NFL. And,
Mhm.
you know, The Rock tried to make it too in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
And he failed. So he's doing the XFL for everybody that was like him, supposedly.
Wait,
Okay.
let me give it to you like
Just
this.
didn't make it.
Let me give it to y'all like this though. So now you see why they fighting to try to get that stadium on their campus, because if the XFL come there and play games, that's gonna give revenue to a black school. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it goes back again, cause see, that's why I say like all around that area when I went down there, that's why all them houses and stuff and that's there and just tore down. That's why it's so important. We really probably got to take a trip down there so y'all can see like how much money and how undeveloped that whole area is. Because like Reggie said, if the management of the Rock, if he bring the XFL, because they don't have no, you got to realize now Mississippi don't have no pro team.
Yeah, they don't.
Mississippi don't have.
Honestly, though, I'm going to tell you this much is when people like, you know, The Rock and his company start snooping around down there, the writing's probably already on the wall. And I'm wondering if you have taken a look at the property around there, you know, since I put that thing up, because I'm wondering, I mean, you know, they could just go through their top 10 constituents, not even on The Rock's level, but on his ex-wife, who was the manager, on that level. If they have seen an opportunity already down there, I'm surprised that all that stuff ain't bought up already.
Okay, so Reggie,
because they got change in their backup purse enough to buy up all that property.
Well, it's not. So, like I said, when I went down,
You know what I'm saying though, right?
Like when I went down there in June, right? There are people and developers coming in buying property.
That's what I'm getting at.
But they're not buying the property where we would like to buy the property. They're buying the property on where the others are.
The reason that I'm getting, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the hood property, they're still not developing in the hood where it's close to the school. They have run. It's a lot of development going on, just like what you're saying. But they're trying to fight to get the developments outside, away from Jackson State. They want it closer to downtown when you're getting off the highway. They're not like the where all the property we went and looked at is property near the school. So because that's where the biggest change is gonna happen, because people are gonna be coming to the school because they're trying to get the school back popular. There are big companies coming in developing property that's nowhere close to the school. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this is the nature of business. What the Rock and company brought down there is when they came down there, brought national cameras and made national news out of that situation. What that means, by the time they made that decision to come down there, all those people are connected. You had mentioned very briefly, I heard toward the end of the conversation, about the politics and things that are going on down there. All those people already know all the aldermen, all the even the Congress people within the state. We're talking, I'm sure, at Congress level. And I guarantee that there are already plans that are in progress that we do not know about. And developers, people that have already been contracted. I guarantee that all these things have already been put in place for the area that they already prefer. So any place out there that is still for sale for pennies is not part of that development plan. Now, that's not a bad thing, because remember that place up there by Popeyes and the Murder Kroger in Atlanta, that area that was all projects? That stuff was selling for pennies on the dollar too. All bank owned, all that stuff, all that area around there was bank owned, right off Ponce.
Yep.
And all that is now $1 million property. So here's the thing: is that it still would not necessarily be a bad thing to buy that property up, but you're not going to see any instant returns until those big projects that the non-melanin enhanced people have put together, until those big projects are done and they are then looking to expand and maybe even quote unquote gentrify, because that's what's happened, you know, in that area, in that, man, I forget the name of that area. I used to live over there. That's why I know. But in that area of Atlanta, that happens everywhere. But I guarantee all the 5-year projects have already been locked down. I guarantee that.
All right, so I'm gonna agree with you, Reggie, to an extent. So the person that I'm working with, she sits on the board. She's a Jackson State alumni, and she
Yep.
sits on the board of Jackson State alumni. And so you're right, and that's how, and that's the thing, is the whole point is to get the properties now, because what you got to understand is once they build it, however they build it, it's gonna be too late to buy the properties then.
I understand that completely, but here's the thing. But this is my pushback, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but my goals and objectives are not in line with that, because I don't have long money. That takes long money, okay? Because these are at least 5-year projects. So you're going to have to buy that property. You're going to have to pay taxes on it. You're going to have to maintain it. You're going to have to do all those things for long enough for the right people to raise their eyebrows toward it and say, oh, now it's time to buy this stuff up.
Reggie.
Because eminent domain didn't work, because we found out that Stacey Rivers owns all this stuff. And this fool is out of Georgia. What are we going to have to do to get him to turn over some of this stuff? You see I'm getting at? That's how this stuff works, dude. And the thing is, I don't have that kind of money.
But hold on, Reggie, but you do. Let me tell you why.
Somebody tell me I had some money like that, because I was just at the dollar store.
He said,
Let me explain something to you, Reggie. Right now, those properties are $200-300 in taxes that's owed. We're not talking thousands of dollars. It's the income level in the area is so low that the property taxes are stupid low. So even until that property moves, you're looking at the most, some of the property. Let's just say you had to put in $500 to $1,000 a year into a property for 5 years. We're not talking 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 property taxes. We talking hundreds of dollars in property taxes. We're not talking big tax bills. We're talking about, you may have a property that you sit on for 2 years and you spend $1,000 on it for 2 years. Just to keep it just to keep the property taxes until you're able to do it, because the poverty level there is so high that these houses are just ran down. These properties are just ran down because nobody's investing money because everybody's they're basically trying to do exactly what you say. They're going to develop the outskirts like they have. If you go down there, you will see it, and it's kind of like you go through a doorway, and it's like everything just go to excuse me for saying it, everything just go to shit, and you go back through the door and everything look like all roses, and you know, you got everything.
Atlanta used to be like that.
Correct. So they're basically suppressed everything in the area where the school is. They're trying to run basically they know they're basically going to take the school and run the area into the ground, come in, buy up all the stuff, then raise the school, because guess what? The school is making money. They got all the recruits. They've been winning. They're the #1 in the in the SWAC. This black school is doing better than the white the white school, the Ole Miss. There's no other school in the area that's actually producing revenue. That's why I say with the XFL thing that you talked about, you have to understand in Mississippi there's no pro nothing. Mississippi don't have no pro baseball, basketball, football. They have no kind of sports generating any revenue. They just got casinos.
So then why don't you think? I mean, that's the actual. I guarantee that's the reason. You know that the Rocks people have already done all that research. and that's why they were there in the first place.
Correct. And that's
So I
what
guarantee that those moves are already being made as we speak. Those moves are being made. So if you go back there and look for stuff to get, at least right now, all you'd be able to get, I guarantee, are scraps. But that's okay, because right now, I remember when I came to Atlanta in 04, like I said, I lived in 3 places inside the perimeter, all of them on right off Piedmont. So I lived right across from the Civic Center for a while. Then I lived right in Midtown around 14th, and then I lived right at the border of Buckhead, which is now technically Buckhead because Buckhead's taken it over. But back in the day, I lived in a brand new building right off, maybe 2 blocks off Piedmont and Cheshire Bridge, where all them strip clubs and stuff was at. And that it was all underdeveloped. But now I drive through. I was just driving all through there over the weekend. I went to Woody's to get a cheesesteak, and there ain't a square inch inside the perimeter that is not big money property now. And I remember there were places off Moreland I was looking at, back before they built that, all that Best Buy and that big old shopping area and stuff like that. All that stuff right across the street was ghetto as heck. I was about to buy a triplex for $89K. All that stuff is gone. It's all multi-million-dollar properties. Everything there, multi-million-dollar properties.
So let me say this to you, though, Reggie.
What I'm getting at is the same thing will happen. I guarantee the same thing will happen in Jacksonville. It's just going to be long money. It's just going to take a while. And if you got it like that, man, I'd be happy to. I'll put 5 on it. I'll be happy to put something there and get something back.
So what if
But
I gave you the plan to say you could? I mean, and this is what I'm gonna say to you. I'm gonna break it down real quick.
I love it. But I don't deal in what ifs.
Well, I mean, and that's perfectly fine. But you like you understand. It's a situation where you buy the house for maybe $1,000 to $2,000, and you slowly build that house and get contractors, and eventually, because you're gonna have an immediate need for people to have Airbnb, because they don't have Airbnbs like that. And none of the locals are invested in the community. So the return on investment is going to be there, because now that everybody's starting to, like, you got to realize with them big recruits coming in to Jackson State, people want to visit their family.
I understand that, but Airbnbs don't, in any place in this country, Airbnbs don't fly well in the hood. That's why you don't see Airbnbs in the hood.
So Reggie, they're changing it from the hood, but they're going to change it at their pace. People are like even our people that are smart.
And I understand that. That's why I try to make it an Airbnb. I don't want a murder happening in my Airbnb, so I'm going to have to wait for that cash-on-cash return until all these other projects are until the place has already become gentrified, for lack of a better term.
I don't think you're realizing that it's not going to be gentrified. It's going to be black excellence. You got to understand, it's going to be a black movement that comes into the area. It's not really going to be gentrified. It's just going to be a transformation, because the school and Dion and all the people that are being invited to come to the school. See, you got to understand what's going on. The other people are focused on getting it away from the school.
Yep.
Dion is focused, and so in order for you to see the area, you got to understand what's going on. I've always talked about around the school is needs to be the focus if we get involved, because this is what I've seen. It's not about the outside area, because see, the problem is you're getting in on the fact that they're going to spend all this money on the outskirts to get their people in. Our people are going to be able to get in because we're going to get in around the school, because they're not worried about the school at all. You see what I mean? So all of the actual properties that are available are around the school area because they're not focused on it. The property taxes are going to stay low, but our people are getting interested in the area, and our people are going to be like, "Well, I'd rather go stay if given the opportunity because there's not hotels in that area of Jackson. You have to go to another area right outside of Jackson to get a nice hotel unless you're downtown." You know what I'm saying? There's no places to stay, so people want to come so they can see how can they invest because there's so much interest being generated by Dion. They don't have the ability to stay close to the school right now because all of the housing around the school is down. So it's not really a long-term play. It's going to be an immediate need as they get more people to as the time keeps rolling like it's rolling. There's going to be more and more people that want to come stay right there by the school so they can be involved. When the school starts, as this school year comes and enrollment is up already, they already got the numbers. People are going to want to come because people want to come see their family. Their enrollment went up and that's another crazy factor. They don't have student housing. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where the Airbnb and the student housing come back into play because their enrollment is already up. So it's not really a long-term play just for what they're building as far as commerce. It's an immediate play now because of the fact that they don't have the housing, and now so many kids are actually committing to HBCUs as a new trend. They're still in a problem where they need housing. So it's still it's not really a long term play. This gonna happen in the next year or two where it's not gonna and by having the housing for the students, it's gonna knock out the crime because now you're gonna have student housing versus regular housing. And then you can mix Airbnb in between student housing, basically like what you see in Atlanta for like when you go to Georgia Tech areas. They live right in the hood, but because it's student housing, you can actually you get apartments over there that people were staying in and renting out to the students. When you look at Georgia State, same thing. Some of them places, like you know what I mean, over in the hood, people were renting out houses on Memorial Drive for students. You see what I mean? And people not really messing with the students. You know, even the people in the streets ain't really gonna mess with the students. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna automatically create a safer neighborhood because people are gonna be like them students. You get what I'm going at?
Yeah, but it always takes something bad has to happen before that neighborhood goes safe. Before they start doing things like increasing patrols or putting cameras on the street lights, things of that nature. That's what happens. I remember when it happened at what's that park right off 20 on the south side of Atlanta, that big park, and it was just a whole lot of hood business that happened there.
Yeah.
Until hello.
Oh no, that was Sam Raven.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think that's just a stereotype, man. That statement, because basically nothing has to happen. What has to happen is that we get enthusiastic about our communities and start working the laws the way they're supposed to work. If enough of us went down and started complaining about what's going on in our areas, nothing bad has to happen. They would have to start policing it. But because of our mindset and the way that we are, it doesn't. So, nah, I don't necessarily agree with the statement you just said, Reggie, because nothing really bad has to happen. All we have to do is pick up the phone, make a call, and start complaining about certain stuff. Our tax money is supposed to go towards police funding and stuff like that. And that would, in return, I think that's what you're getting at. There's no police visibility there at Jackson State. But like Franco's saying, is that once the money starts flowing in, once people start coming in, the police visibility has to increase, whatnot. And I'm quite sure now is the time where Dion's trying to get everybody to understand we don't have to wait on the others. We can help ourselves. We have enough people. We can help ourselves. We don't have to worry about their help. We can help ourselves. The funding will come. Like they say, if you build it, they will come. If we go in ourselves and do it ourselves, the funding is going to come. Period. That's what he's trying. That's all what he's trying to do.
And so I'm gonna say this to y'all. Like I don't know if you heard me, Reggie, when I say that. It's not a. That's the thing about the area. The area isn't bad because they got a restaurant that's been there for 50 years and it has no security guard. And they serve hamburgers just like the old school way through cash only. They take cash only payments. They don't take cards. You know what I'm saying? And like they had just really kind of like basically when you see it, they don't really take cards. And so with more students coming, that means they got to get more campus police, as well as they got to get more regular police over there just because it's more students. If something happened to a student, that's a real bad PR situation.
Man, you just banged that company up too, man. Now they got to report all that money.
But and so that's why I'm saying the area around the school is going to have to get better just for the fact that they got a higher student enrollment. You see what I'm saying? They got more students coming, so they're going to have to, even though it's not a bad area, they're going to have to increase police presence because they're going to have more students in the area that they got to protect.
I'll put it like this. Have you, like, of course, they have the nation's top receiver or something coming there this year.
Top lineman and receiver.
Can you imagine being the parent of one of those top students coming there and you don't have adequate security? Oh, heck no. I'm going to raise, if it was my kid going there, I'm going to put in some calls and I'm going to start raising the devil. And I bet you're going to have a police presence there. Regardless, that's going to, whatever, all the hood activities, whatever, that will cease. Regardless.
They're going to push out all that. They're going to push out all of that riffraff by default, just because of the simple fact all these top-notch students coming, and you can't have nobody shooting around the corner from these students. You know, even if you can't have too much, crackhead running around trying to do anything to these students. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have students with big-time cars and big-time money with their family coming. And they gonna have expensive stuff because hey, guess what? The Neal deal's also kicked off too, where the athletes make money. So now they're protected. Now sponsors want they top-notch athlete protected. So guess what? That's more money coming into the city. You know what I'm saying? Because them sponsors like, look, we trying to advertise around here and make money. Y'all got to protect our investment. So now that's political again. So that's why I say by default, they're going to clean it up. Go ahead, Rich.
All right. What I was trying to say is that in here, my hand will be lower. Okay, cool. So I understand exactly what you guys are talking about, but just to kind of put things into context, is that I said the word I in every one of my statements.
Correct.
The word was I. Okay. My business mentor said that us people that are melanin enhanced really need to use the term start speaking French, because the term should be we, right?
Right.
That's the joke should be we. But the thing is that I've been in so many situations myself, okay, where I have to say the word I because I don't have enough people. That's the reason I sought you guys out. Okay. I understand completely. Okay. But the thing is unless I know that I have, some good people around me that can help me get from point A to point B, then that's a tough road to haul. So I can only speak. Remember when I mentioned this, I said, I can only speak for myself. I can only speak for myself on this. Now, it'd be very different than if we were coming together on a situation like this. But again, I've reached out. I think everybody here, with the exception of maybe Sequesta, is I've reached out, and I just, I'm not putting anybody out there or anything like that. It's just, I never get anything back when it comes to, hey, let's work on this together. I put out suggestions and things of that nature, but I've asked for personal info from everybody. I'm like, hey, so when you say, Franco, hey, let's do this, and it's been about a month, but I usually try to talk to you once or so in between these sessions to try and figure out, hey, these are some of the plays that I'm doing. These are some of the things that are going on, and I do have an update on the thing that I was talking about, the high interest savings account. It's actually pretty cool, but so coming here and voicing, I'm not going to say opinions, but this is our research and what we're doing, and we make the suggestions and this and that. But there is a difference between making suggestions and saying, hey, taking notes. Hey, you should look at this company because I just ran the numbers and we need to do this and do that. Versus, hey, who's coming together with me on this? This is what it's going to take. I ran the numbers. If we can all put in so much money, then we have a viable option. Then we're cooking with gas. So the we factor, dude, I'd be all for it.
So
because I know that I don't necessarily have the resources, even though you said that these things can be small. It's very hard managing property from far away. I know because I used to do it. I had property back in Illinois that I wound up selling right before I had rental property, right before the crash of the housing market. So glad I got out from under it. I didn't make any money, but I didn't lose any money. But the thing is that it is hard because I'm trying to find out like who's messing with my property, who's doing this, who's doing that, and I'm almost 1,000 miles away, so it's really, really tough. So who's out there representing us in Jacksonville on the day-to-day basis when you're out when you've got a decent slab of money invested? Who are the city aldermen? Who are the people that do have the ability to, if you make enough calls, they can do things like, hey, we can increase patrols, we can do those things. And if you are that, because we've been talking about this now for a good month or so, it's time to, if we're serious about it. Like I said, man, I got no problem. I already, as you can see, I made the contribution here. I keep my eyes open for all kinds of things. So I made that little contribution on WhatsApp, with the rock and stuff going on there. So I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm all about opportunity, but I know what I'm capable of doing myself. And I myself have limited resources. But that's the whole reason behind this group. If everybody gets together, with a unique cause, then the spear becomes much more sharper and has a far better effect. I'm all about that because if I wasn't about that, I would not be here right now expressing my opinion to y'all.
All right, so I'm gonna do a slick plug, Neurowave Networks. But so let me say this to you. Reggie. I just got put on to this play back in June, so it's fairly new to me too. And I'll say this in all honesty and truth, like even my investments in the real estate, that's really new to me too. Like I'm really just getting into real estate this year myself. We started out in stocks, and we started out, you know what I'm saying, and so a lot of this is just because like even what I tell stats, I was telling Sam about like even the plays attack on the tax trying to pay the taxes. I had to learn in going by getting involved with this and learn like how it go. I made some, I lost all the properties that I went down there, and I tell the truth. All the properties I went down there and put money on this time, I got paid off. I made like $500 off of it. You know what I mean? Like basically, it paid for me to go down on the trip. So I hadn't like it's the beginning of phase for me just as well of like what's the play. Like even and that's why I'm happy that you posted it because it's a situation like everybody else get to see other information too. I'm learning, trying to figure out how to navigate it just as well because it's new to me. Like try to do something out of state. Like when you look at it, and like, but that's the world we live in now. We're gonna have to do stuff cross borders, out of state, because our home states, that's the way of life now. Globalization is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be thinking on a global scale, period. Because, like you said, you had a house back then, but that's why I want to throw Neurowave Networks in here. Now you can monitor your house and your property from anywhere in the world because of digitalization. So it makes
Yep.
it makes it easier to do the things that used to be hard. That's why evolution of of thought and life and lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? We gotta realize, like, ooh, even if we got a property down there, we're gonna be able to monitor it in some type of way. We're gonna be able to also get, somebody down there eventually, because that's gonna be a business for somebody to monitor properties. As properties start getting developed, like, it may be hard in the beginning, but that's gonna be a business for, like, you have properties manager. Stacy was talking about last week how he used a property manager to rent a house. You know what I'm saying? That's the new way of doing business now. People want to do it that way because there's so many scammers out here now. They want to deal with real life people, and so people are creating new businesses of evolution. So I get what you're saying, but I just want you to know that it's easier now than it was back then because of the way people in society are and how the world is doing business now. Like, you pay online. You go, you know what I mean? Like, shoot, if you don't pay at a certain time, it automatically paperwork gonna automatically get filed. And even court systems, you don't even have to be in the area no more to file. You file it online. So if somebody don't pay you, all you do is go online and fill out the paperwork. They go over there and put them out. You ain't even really got to go there no more. You know what I mean? So I just want you to consider, because you a part of this group and you've been bringing great content and you've been here all the time, consider the fact that some of the the old way, again, like I say all the time to everybody, we got to evolve and keep up. Because the whole world is doing business completely different from when we came up as younger individuals. Like, everything's different. Like I say, even with my son don't sold stuff to people that he probably don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at all the stuff, the way people doing business, people take classes from people that they ain't never met. You know what I mean? Like, people are learning all these different things, and it's a work in progress to kind of learn how to do, like, even when we went to the DR to see how you can go buy a house in another country now, not just another state. You go buy another house in another country and monitor it, so you make money from what, you know what I'm saying, in a whole nother area. People go over there and buy a house just to have it as a source of income and go use it when they want to, but it don't cost nothing. You look at
take advantage of the exchange rate.
Yeah, it don't cost nothing. Like, your money, you say you don't have but sandwich money, but sandwich money is steak and filet mignon in some places.
You're right. Yep. You're right.
I mean, that's top shelf right there. Your sandwich money is top shelf somewhere else. You know.
Yeah, if you got 10 stacks here, over there, you might as well have 50.
You actually got, your sandwich money is a lot more than you think. It's just in America, your sandwich money is sandwich money. It might not even be. It might just be a hot dog right now. It might not even be a sandwich right now because of inflation. But that's all I'm saying, man. Like, for myself, like you said, and what I've learned, globalization is real. And if we don't evolve and learn how to do global economics, the United States is done. I mean, there's no businesses. If you're not doing business the way, the United States is done. So, that's all. That's why I say, like, man, just, consider it's easier now. You can do something.
You're right. You're right.
That's all.
Like I said, I'm all about the we. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for us to do something as an us.
Yeah, and like with the Jackson thing, I just got put on to it. this is my first little understanding of how to make something like this work. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really said a lot about it because I'm learning, and I'm not gonna tell you why I'm learning to get involved with something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me figure out what's going on because it's my thing, and then when I come to you, I've been keeping you abreast of what's going on, and if you want to,
Yep.
you know, if everybody want to get involved, then I feel more comfortable saying, hey, okay, I know these people. I've been down here, you know what I'm saying, talking to this person, that person. All those things you're saying about making sure you know these people, like that's the part of me I'm trying to navigate that too. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to figure out, okay, well, shoot, I got this person on the inside. I know one person. Shit, I ain't put my eggs down and basking on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
Mm-hmm.
come back and tell you, shoot, yeah, you need to invest because she said so. Shit.
I understand. I understand. You know, when you first brought it up, you put us on alert. So we're all hopefully we're all looking out for potential opportunities the same way I you know looking out. I haven't been intentionally looking out or anything like that. It's just when something crosses my desk, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what this is about. I know what's behind this. So so I share it, and the compilation of all this information just verifies your, I don't want to call it a hunch, but your hypothesis. So all these things verify your hypothesis. And if there are enough verifications occur, then yeah, I don't have a problem putting my money where my mouth is, you know, however little money it is. But if there's a half dozen of us, you know, to a dozen of us, then that little money might become some pretty big money. So man, I got no problem with that, my man.
Yeah,
No problem.
and that's kind of like what I'm doing. You know, like I'm trying. That's why I put my money into a couple of the properties. I mean, because if I got a property and say, hey, you know, I need some help. Shit, let's sit down and if they rebuild it, you know, that's what I would do. I would come try to get funding from everybody. Hey, listen, you know, we're gonna get this type of return, and you know, this how much we need. You know what I mean? Because I can't say I got an abundance of money just sitting around, but I want to keep taking steps because I'm thinking if I can buy a house, couple of houses for $1,000 to sit on them, so I might get 10,000 out of them. You know what I mean? And that's the game that I'm playing with it. And then with them coming to actually build, I might have some property. I might mess around and get property that's worth something to somebody else, and they willing to buy me out. You know, so it's all of an investment because I'm trying to get to the bar. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I'm tired. Y'all can have the rat race.
All right. Well, let's move on from this topic.
What you got in news, sir? Oh,
Let's
Reggie posted after you. Reggie got something. He put something in about.
I see it. I got it. It's in the chat column. I checked it out.
We get with Reggie on that.
All right. Basically in the news, I have something what you would call, this is what I call it. I call it seasonal stocks. And I have two for you. Because of football season coming along, it would behoove now. I'm not a financial advisor. Please consult your financial advisor before you do any trading or anything, basically. Okay. Here's my first one. It's DraftKings. I call it seasonal stocks because during the football season just now on the way, if you could pick up DraftKings at the low, you know it's going to run up. All during football season. It's going to run up.
Yeah, it's already started. It's already started to run up.
See, there you go. My point exactly. All right. That's one of them. You know, you could drop whatever you want. You know, hey, me personally, I dropped a couple on there, a few. I'm not talking hundreds, but I dropped some on there, let it run up, get my money, and I'm gone. I'm gone. As Franco said, I'm gone to the barn. But my other one is Fubo. I don't know if you guys know about that one. It's Fubo TV. They do like they right now because the NFL just signed some kind of big contract to do streaming on your phones and stuff, so you can actually watch the games on your phone, the streaming and stuff. But Fubo they're one of the leaders in that. Right now, their stock is at like, I think it's like 348.
What's the ticker?
FUBO. So that's just two of them. And I hear Fubo also has the World Cup or something, Soccer World Cup, that they're going to be streaming on their platform too. So this is going to cause them to like go up too, actually. So that's just some seasonal, stocks that I normally just, and it used to be, one of mine used to be the Southern Company, which is a power company, because they used to do the same exact thing. They used to drop, then they jack up, man. But I don't think the power company coming back down now, fellas. Huh?
Hey, man, but hey, you know something? That Fubo you talking about, that's an interesting one. Them folks got 1.37 billion in total assets.
Bro, they solid. I've already did that.
They got 1.3 billion in total assets in 2021.
They're looking for a partner right now. They're looking for another partner.
And they got 600. They revenue was 600 million.
I know Gamal talked about it maybe about 7-8 months ago.
Yep. Those are, I call them seasonal. So I
mean, I ain't talking about on a seasonal level. They've been reporting quarter after quarter.
Yeah, they came up from the cellar now. They came up from the cellar.
Yeah, and it's cheap. They've been recording and they getting all the sports events.
Yep. I think they got like they came up like 17%, but they're predicted to probably be somewhere around hovering around $9 or something by the end of football season.
Yeah, because
so if it's at 3-4, you can make some pretty decent money on that,
But, yeah, they got. I mean, this is a solid company.
Yeah, and it'll drop after football season too.
But no, because that's why when you talk about the World Cup, that's basically they in Spain, they in all the countries that like soccer. Soccer go all around year.
World Cup is coming here, right?
They will drop during after football season over with.
Really?
They will. That's just like DraftKings.
Yeah.
DraftKings is accepted everywhere, and they dropped during after football season. They dropped, and then they pick right back up. DraftKings do the same thing.
Yeah, Reggie, I knew that the World Cup was coming here too, because